Okay, this is a horror movie, and the title is called Ghosts of War. I don't recognize the names, but because it was listed as a horror movie, I was interested. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. Don't know the first thing about the premise. Obviously, it has something to do with wartime stuff. So let's see, shall we?
The outpost is 30 miles over those hills. Let's move out.
Who are we babysitting this time?
Not a who. A mansion. Yowza.
Speaking of my whole neighborhood in Queens.
It was supposed to be a big deal when the 82nd Airborne came through and pushed out the Nazi high command.
This is a life, boys.
Bad things are going to happen.
You hear that?
We need to talk.
We stay here, we're fish in a barrel.
We're staying.
What's that?
I found it in the basement. Belonged to one of the Nazis who took over the house.
It says what happened to the family who lived here.
This ain't right, man. This place is bad juju.
I knew that was going to happen. I knew a jump scare was going to happen.
Everything we experience, it's what the Nazis did to the family that lived here.
Oh.
Let's get out of this house.
If you leave.
They're here. I want everyone geared up and ready to clear out.
You can't leave.
It won't let us leave. This isn't real. This isn't real.
This isn't real. This isn't real. This isn't real.
Jump scares coming up, you guys. I knew it. I knew it, and yet I still jumped. Okay, so I'm looking to see if there's any names, excuse me, that I recognize. I recognize Billy Zane, really? Oh no, executive producer. I was like, what? That's interesting. The guy who looks like he's the main guy, I saw. Oh no, he's in there. Shows him, but I don't know who he plays. Wow, I totally did not notice. If it showed him, I totally did not realize that was Billy Zane. Wow. Okay. Speaking of Billy Zane, last year when he came to a comic convention in my area, I went to go to his panels with Christy Swanson. And he was absolutely freaking hilarious, you guys. That guy is so funny. I really like him. And that was a tangent, but I just wanted to add that. The dude who played the main guy who looks like is the main character, I recognize his face, but I could not tell you where I saw him. And I don't know his name. No clue. But anyway, the trailer, it was kind of like on that borderline, almost felt too long sort of thing. Like they show the group going to the house. There's this fight that happens. They stay at the house. Then they delve into the area of the horror stuff, and then they tell you what the horror stuff is about and what's happening. I mean, while it's interesting to know that, so the ghosts are inflicting the horrors that the Nazis, put on them to anybody who's in the house. That's interesting. That's different. The whole premise is pretty interesting and different. Not different completely, because I've seen wartime horror movie type stuff, The Outpost, and there have been some other things that I've seen that revolve around soldier people, and there's horror and stuff like that. But the setup was kind of different. They're in this house. The house is haunted. And the ghosts are, taking revenge for what the Nazis did to them on anybody who's in the house. So that right away was kind of interesting. But I sort of felt like that them going into all of those specifics was not really necessary. I just didn't feel like we needed that in order to get that this, sort of the basic theme that this was about. So it just kind of felt like it was a skosh too long. However, I was entertained, and this is something that I will be watching. I have a feeling most people in here, most of the characters in here are going to end up dying. Maybe the main person will live, but who knows? Honestly, with movies like this, sometimes nobody lives. Oh, excuse me. I feel like I'm getting ready to sneeze. Anyway, I don't know. I couldn't predict it. I'm just sort of like going off of all the different types of survival horror stuff I've seen, and it can go either way. Honestly, it could. But I won't know till I see it. Don't know when the release date is. This is copyrighted 2019, but up in the title, it's got a 2020 date. So at some point this year, I will not go see this in the theaters, even if it comes to the theaters, but I will check it out at some point. And maybe it'll show up on Shudder. That would be cool if it does. But if it's not Shudder, then maybe Amazon or Netflix. And I'll get a chance to check it out then. If anybody else happens to check it out before I get around to it, which is very, very possible, let me know what you think if it was well done. It looks like it's pretty decently made, but we'll see. Okay, that's it for this one, you guys. Nos vemos.